In today's video, we're talking about the Soviet models that had the bad reputation of being rolling death traps the moment they left the factory. In this era, form often took precedence over function, innovation was stifled by bureaucracy, and safety was frequently overlooked as manufacturers cut corners to hit quotas. When they worked, often for tens of thousands of miles with only minor maintenance. But there were occasions, especially as the centrally planned economy began to unravel, where the results were often unpredictable, frequently unreliable, and sometimes downright dangerous. Let's dive into 10 of the most dangerous communist cars from this bygone era. The Lada 1111 Oka was the last breath of the Soviet auto industry before it all came crashing down. Introduced to the market in 1988 as the VAZ 111, it was supposed to be a cool, small city car, but it was just too tiny, something like a washing machine on wheels. It had a tiny 0.65-liter engine, making just 29 horsepower. It was kind of an insult to the disabled drivers it was made for through a state program. Ultimately, they released it to everyone because it was highly affordable, like dirt cheap. When the USSR was breaking up, folks just needed any car that worked, but it earned a nickname no prospective car owner would feel comfortable with: the capsule of death. Seriously, if you crashed, you probably wouldn't walk away. It had zero airbags, no side protection at all, and the frame was so thin you could probably dent it with your knee. Still, back in the chaotic 90s, it felt like freedom. It didn't use much gas, was easy to fix, and cost peanuts, just $300 to $400. Less than a new phone today. Now it's mostly a weird collector's item. You probably won't see these death traps driving around much anymore, but you'll definitely hear stories about them. The SMZ S1L is a car with a heartwarming origin story, but perhaps a less than reassuring design. After World War II, there was a pressing need in the Soviet Union to provide mobility for disabled veterans. The SMZ S1L was designed in the early 1950s for just that purpose. Made from 1952 to 1956 as part of a government welfare program, it wasn't about speed or comfort, it was simply about providing transportation. It had a tiny 123cc engine with only 4 horsepower, and its top speed was just 19 miles per hour. Slower than most people can ride their bike. The frame was very weak, more like a thin tin can than a sturdy car, so safety was essentially non-existent. Any crash or even strong wind was a serious risk. Still, the idea behind it was kind. Today, the SMZ S1L is very rare because most didn't survive Soviet weather or simply fell apart. That rarity and its special history make it a quirky collector's item. If you ever find one, it might be worth around $1,000. Not bad for an interesting piece of automotive history. Next on our list is the LUAZ 969. It's a small off-roader with a big image. Built in Ukraine from 1966 to 1992, it was initially designed for the military, so it came equipped with genuine off-road capabilities. It had 4-wheel drive, high ground clearance, and later models had a 1.2-liter V4 engine with about 40 horsepower. It wasn't fast, but it was made to handle rough terrain. So what was its downside? Safety was a serious issue. A known flaw let carbon monoxide leak into the cabin, and this deadly problem was linked to 60 deaths. That's a shocking stat for any vehicle. Still, collectors adore the LUAZ 969 for its distinctive appearance, rugged construction, and rarity outside the former Soviet Union. It's part rugged 4x4, part rolling history. Today, you can fetch between $8,000 and $10,000 for this quirky and dangerous classic. Next up is a true icon in Soviet automotive history, albeit a somewhat infamous one, the ZAZ 965. Also known as the humpback Zaporizhets, it was the Soviet Union's first mass-market car. Built from 1960 to 1972, it aimed to be USSR's version of the Volkswagen Beetle or Fiat 600. It had a rear-mounted 750cc V4 engine that put out about 23 horsepower. The car was inexpensive and easy to repair, but the low cost came with significant trade-offs. It was made with poor quality materials, had weak safety features, and was prone to overheating. That air-cooled engine in the back could even catch fire. While there aren't clear death statistics like with the LUAZ, the ZAZ 965's problems made it risky to drive. Still, it's become a collector's item today due to its unusual shape, its significance in Soviet history, and the rarity of surviving examples. Prices now range from approximately $5,000 to $10,000 for one of these quirky yet flawed icons. Over in Romania, the Dacia Lastun has the ignoble distinction of making the list. It was produced from 1988 to 1992 during the final years of communist Romania, and in the immediate aftermath after markets began to open up to the world. It was a tiny car with a fiberglass body that made it lightweight and gave it a bit of a futuristic look, kind of like the Lancia Y10. It had a small 499cc 2-cylinder engine with just 22.5 horsepower, perfect for city driving but not much else. The fiberglass helped cut weight and cost, but it also meant the car wasn't very durable or safe in a crash. While specific fatality stats are hard to come by, the Lastun's basic build and lack of real safety features made it risky. The short production run makes this dangerous ride a rare find today, especially outside Romania. If you can find one, expect to pay between $1,000 and $5,000. It's a fragile piece of Romanian automotive history, built cheap, built light, and definitely not built for safety. The ZAZ 1102 Tavria was ZAZ's next step after the old humpback Zaporizhets. Made from 1987 to 1997, it aimed to modernize Soviet car design with a front-wheel drive layout and a simple hatchback body. It usually came with a 1.1-liter inline-4 engine that made about 51 horsepower. Not fast, but better than earlier models. It was a budget car, and it showed. The build quality was subpar, with inferior materials and minimal safety features. There were no airbags, crumple zones, or even strong seatbelts. Its danger came from that overall lack of protection rather than any one flaw. Still, the Tavria marked an attempt to catch up with the West during a tough economic time. Today, it's rare, especially outside Eastern Europe. Interested buyers looking for Soviet and post-Soviet cars might find one for around $1,000 to $5,000. It's a plain but important symbol of a struggling industry trying to move forward. Now, this next one might ring a bell for some of our viewers, particularly those in North America. It's a car whose name became almost synonymous with automotive failure and danger. The Yugo came from Yugoslavia and was built from 1980 to 2008. It was based on the old Fiat 127 and came with engines ranging from 0.9 to 1.3 liters, producing between 44 and 65 horsepower. When it hit the US market in 1985, it cost just $3,990, making it the most affordable new car available at the time. But you definitely got what you paid for. The Yugo quickly became known for terrible build quality and constant reliability problems. While it didn't have one big safety flaw, its weak structure, minimal safety features, and poor crash performance made it a risky ride, especially on highways, where it felt unstable and unsafe. Still, its bad reputation has made it oddly famous. It's now a quirky collector's item, especially early US models. Prices of the Yugo today can range from around $3,400 to as much as $12,100 for rare, well-maintained examples. The Yugo proves that even a famously bad car can earn legendary status. The Trabant is the most iconic car from the Eastern Bloc, especially in East Germany. Made from 1957 to 1990, it was the standard car for everyday people in the German Democratic Republic. It had a tiny 600cc two-stroke engine that produced just 23 horsepower and remained largely unchanged for over 30 years. Its body was made of Duraplast, a plastic reinforced with cotton or wood fiber, because steel was in short supply. Driving a Trabant was as basic as it gets, with no airbags, no crumple zones, and early models lacking even seatbelts or a fuel gauge. Instead, you used a dipstick to check the fuel level. In a crash, the Duraplast shell offered almost no protection and could shatter. The engine was also very polluting, known for its smoky exhaust. Still, the Trabant became a symbol of life in East Germany and even the fall of the Berlin Wall. Its strange design, loud two-stroke sound, and historical importance have earned it a special affection among collectors. Today, you can usually find one for around $2,000 to $5,000. The FSO Polonez was Poland's attempt to mix Eastern Bloc practicality with a bit of Italian flair. Made from 1978 to 2002, it was styled by the famous Italian design firm Giugiaro, giving it a more modern look than many cars from behind the Iron Curtain. Underneath, though, it used the old chassis of the Polski Fiat 125P and came with engines ranging from 1.3 to 2.0 liters, making between 60 and 120 horsepower. Despite its stylish body, the Polonez never really caught up with Western safety standards. It lacked modern crash protection and safety features, so it didn't hold up well in accidents. Still, its simple mechanics made it reliable in other ways. Today, the Polonez stands out for its long production run, Italian design roots, and role in Polish automotive history. Buyers interested in Eastern European cars can expect to pay around $1,500 to $4,000 for one. It's not the safest, but it's definitely a unique blend of style and history. The Polski Fiat 126P, lovingly called the Maluch, meaning toddler, was one of Poland's most important cars. Built from 1973 to 2000, it was a licensed version of the Fiat 126 and became the most common car in Poland. It had a tiny 0.65-liter rear-mounted engine with about 23 horsepower, just enough for basic city driving. Safety was almost non-existent. It was small, light, had no crumple zones, and offered little protection in crashes. On top of that, it rusted easily, which could weaken the body even more over time. Still, it was beloved. It provided millions of people with access to personal transportation, was easy to repair, and had a lot of charm. Today, collectors appreciate it for its cultural value rather than its performance or safety. Prices usually range from $1,000 to $3,000, with its popularity driven by nostalgia and deep roots in Polish life. Each of these cars came with challenges that made driving one a risky proposition. The Lada Oka, often called the capsule of death, is infamous for its fragility, while the LUAZ 969, with its military roots and impressive off-road capabilities, is a highly sought-after collector's item despite its sketchy track record. Similarly, the Trabant, lacking seatbelts, and the Yugo, known for its poor build quality, both carry notorious reputations that only enhance their allure for buyers wanting to own a nostalgic piece of Soviet auto history. Their market values, shaped by rarity, condition, and cultural importance, underscore their status as beloved relics for automotive enthusiasts and researchers alike. These cars may not have been the safest or most reliable, but their story makes them an integral part of automotive history. If you could own one of these iconic yet slightly terrifying Soviet-era cars, which one would it be and why? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and press the bell icon to watch more car stories that are as quirky as they are cool.